Kazuya Kinoshita, a 20-year-old college student living alone in Tokyo, experienced a sudden breakup with his first girlfriend. She left him, claiming to have fallen for someone else. This left Kazuya deeply hurt and upset. He tried various things to win her back, like holding her hand casually and trying to find her on social media. To his surprise, he discovered she had blocked him. While scrolling through his phone, he came across a popular Japanese app for renting a girlfriend. It caught his interest, and he decided to explore it. He came across a profile for Mizuhara Chizuru, described as a high-class girlfriend. He decided to rent her for a date. Kazuya expected her to be unattractive, but when they met, he was captivated by her beauty. They spent time together, visiting an aquarium, and Kazuya decided to rent her for a second date. However, he later discovered negative reviews about Mizuhara from her previous clients, which infuriated him. He felt deceived and decided to confront her. They returned to the aquarium, where Kazuya's anger and frustration erupted. Mizuhara scolded him for his behavior, reminding him that he had requested her services. The realization hit Kazuya hard. Just as they were about to discuss the matter further, he received news of his grandmother's sudden health scare. Kazuya rushed to the hospital with Mizuhara by his side. Thankfully, his grandmother was okay. To protect his grandmother's feelings, Kazuya introduced Mizuhara as his girlfriend, surprising everyone. His family and grandmother were thrilled to hear that he had a beautiful girlfriend. As part of her act, Mizuhara played along and introduced herself. Kazuya's grandma was overjoyed. However, this put them in a tricky situation. They had to maintain the charade, and things got complicated when Mizuhara's grandmother found them together. Instead of getting angry, Mizuhara's grandmother was delighted, and she wished to see them together. They decided to say they had broken up to avoid further complications. Kazuya and Mizuhara had a heart-to-heart conversation before she left, and Kazuya revealed why he had rented a girlfriend. He hoped to introduce a real girlfriend to his grandmother one day, as he was tired of pretending. While walking, Kazuya encountered his ex-girlfriend and faced teasing from two men. A paper fell in front of him, and when he looked up, he saw a nerdy-looking girl who resembled Mizuhara, but he brushed it off and continued walking. Suddenly, someone grabbed him and pulled him into a room. It was indeed Mizuhara Chizuru. Chizuru ordered him not to reveal her secret job as a rental girlfriend. To their surprise, they discovered they attended the same college. One morning, Kazuya left his apartment only to find Chizuru leaving the door next to his. They both screamed in shock, realizing they lived right next to each other and attended the same college. What a coincidence! Chizuru kept her distance from Kazuya, not wanting to get too close to her clients. Meanwhile, Kazuya's grandma called him. He remembered Chizuru's suggestion to tell them they had broken up, but his grandma was excited to visit. She insisted that he invite Chizuru. Panicked, Kazuya knocked on Chizuru's door and begged her to be his girlfriend for the day. Chizuru, who wanted him to tell his grandma they had broken up, refused because of the user agreement rules. Desperate and panicking, Kazuya posed as a delivery guy, pushed his way into Chizuru's apartment, and begged for her help. Despite his many pleas and attempts, Chizuru kicked him out. Back in his apartment, Kazuya decided to tell the truth. But before he could, his grandma concluded that they had broken up. She saw through his attempts to cover it up and expressed disappointment. She believed no girl could stay with him for long. Unexpectedly, Chizuru showed up with soup, pretending to be his girlfriend. His grandma was overjoyed, and before heading back to the hospital, she made sure Kazuya and Chizuru would visit her. After his grandma left, Kazuya offered to pay Chizuru for pretending, but she initially declined, thinking it was for the next week. They eventually agreed that Kazuya would rent her as a girlfriend for an hour every Wednesday. While walking in the school hallway, Kazuya bumped into his ex-girlfriend, Mami Nanami. He was still captivated by her and wanted to ask why she had blocked him. His two friends showed up and advised him to move on since Mami was out of his league. Meanwhile, Mommy was teased by her friends about Kazuya. Kazuya found himself in an awkward situation. He had been thinking about intimate matters when he and Chizuru needed to visit his grandmother at the hospital. On the way, Chizuru emphasized the rules of her job and the things she couldn't discuss, as breaking these rules would cost her job with the agency. At the hospital, they encountered Kazuya's friends, who were surprised to see him introduce Chizuru as his girlfriend. They were amazed and asked him lots of awkward questions. They were even invited to a drinking session, which Chizuru initially declined, but Kazuya accepted. When they arrived at the gathering, Kazuya was taken aback to find his ex-girlfriend, Mommy, at the same place. It was an uncomfortable situation, but Mommy's presence lifted the mood. Despite his hurt feelings, Kazuya realized that Mommy had moved on while he was still thinking about her. Things took a tense turn when Kazuya overheard a conversation between Mommy and Chizuru. Chizuru's words seemed to anger Mommy, and the tension in the room grew. The episode didn't end well, as Chizuru left, leaving Kazuya feeling bad for not supporting her. The next part of the story continued with Mommy and Kazuya walking home together. She invited him over to her house, which flattered him. However, they couldn't go because her brother's friends were coming over. This gave Kazuya some mixed thoughts and expectations. Eventually, he mustered the courage to invite Mommy to his house. Their conversation turned tense when she badmouthed Chizuru and gave him advice. Kazuya was shocked by his own confession. He admitted that he still had feelings for Mommy but couldn't tolerate her badmouthing Chizuru. He immediately regretted saying this and ran away. He headed to Chizuru's front door to apologize, feeling sorry for pushing her into situations she didn't want and for embarrassing her. He knew she probably didn't want to see him, but to his surprise, she stood next to him. He apologized, and she assured him she wasn't mad, as she was just a rental girlfriend. He told her everything, and Chizuru was understanding and offered advice. Chizuru showed care and humanity, offering words of wisdom, saying that some nights you may want to be with someone, and some goodbyes can only be healed by saying, "See you again." Kazuya was moved to tears by her words. The group headed to the beach in a car. Kazuya was confused about why he was invited, especially considering the awkward recent events with Mommy. However, it turned out Mommy had actually suggested that he and Chizuru come along. At the hotel, they were all asked to put on swimsuits, and this made Kazuya blush. He wanted to figure out his true feelings and was eager to end the need to rent a girlfriend. While Mommy acted kind and friendly around Kazuya, little did he know that she was secretly posting hateful things about him and Chizuru on social media. Chizuru went on a vacation with her friends to the beach, and it just so happened that they ended up at the same beach as Kazuya. Kazuya's friends were occupied playing while he scrolled through his phone, searching for ways to reconcile with his ex. Then, to his surprise, Mommy appeared in a swimsuit, which made him blush. They started talking and reminiscing about their past memories. Mommy appeared to have regrets about their breakup, but Kazuya knew that Chizuru was just a rental girlfriend. Kazuya was getting close to revealing the truth to Mommy when he was suddenly interrupted by another voice. He turned to see a familiar face, Ichino's Kisuru, who was dressed in her typical nerdy attire. Both Kazuya and Chizuru were nervous, fearing they might be exposed, and they were sweating with anxiety. Mommy asked Kazuya about his girlfriend Chizuru, but he managed to escape this awkward situation by pretending he needed to rejoin his friends who were playing. He quickly went to the restroom and couldn't hold back his tears. He desperately wanted to confess the truth about his girlfriend. However, things took an unexpected turn when Kanojo showed up, and he pulled her into the restroom. She was furious, as they had agreed not to talk to each other. As they began conversing, they heard Mommy's voice approaching, which sent them into a panic. They worried that Mommy might misunderstand their situation. Kazuya was the first to leave the restroom, trying to cover up what was happening inside. But he was soon caught in his lie, and he panicked when Mommy was about to open the restroom door. However, before she could touch the doorknob, Chizuru stepped out, surprising Mommy and their friends. As usual, Mommy took to her private social media to rant, and it was clear she was not genuine. Kazuya and Chizuru were left with no choice but to continue pretending. Despite Chizuru's amazing act, Kazuya felt that she was out of his league, and he knew many guys were interested in her. The episode concluded with a surprising twist. Mommy grabbed Kazuya for a kiss behind Chizuru's back.